Next lightning talk, Andrew Turpin, Kung Fu for Data Scrubbing. And I said that because he put an exclamation mark into it. So I'm trying to make it kind of as written. We'll see, Andrew, quite how you say it.
Okay, thank you very much. What I want to talk to you about is something called scrub fu. I am expecting to be, but I'll do it like this. What I want to talk to you about is a problem that I've seen before, and it came up again in a project that we were running, this Team Fu. Team Fu is a very nifty project management tool, so you're welcome to go and take a look. Here's the problem, and it's a problem that many of you probably have come across, and I'd be interested afterwards to talk to you about how you solved it or how you didn't solve it. And the problem is this. When you're working on a system, and this is a consumer-based system, so people subscribe and we've got their data, and if we scroll down, I'm not going to do that, but if you scroll down to the terms and conditions, it says all sorts of good things in the privacy policy about GDPR and about POPI and so on. Cool. Now you've got all this data and you are developing, and all the devs need to work on realistic data. Earlier in the convention, we had a talk about synthetic data construction. But one of the problems is you want to work with realistic data. But you don't want to have production data floating around in development environments. Well, that's the problem. Okay, so what you want to try and do is take data from your production environment, bring it into your development environment, or first of all into your QA. You don't want production data there either, but you do, okay, because otherwise you can't test it properly and QA it properly. So what you want to do is take the data from your production environment and scrub it in some very clever way so that it's format preserving, referential integrity, maintaining, all the good things about the data. You've all had these problems. I know I can see some heads. And then be able to use the data in those environments without breaching any of your confidentiality or privacy, personal data privacy obligations that you have in maintaining that data. So I've tried once or twice to deal with this problem, and I started a project. This is the second take two. I've called it PG Scrub Fu because I was just doing it with Postgres, but it's a tool to do exactly that. Now here's the thing. I'm going to show you the requirement specification for the tool, and then I'm going to ask you, anybody who wants to help me build the code for the tool. Okay, all right, so let's do that. Mouse pad is horrible. Not my computer. Doesn't work the way I want it to work. Okay, so here we go. So I've just created this Python project. You can see when this thought started a little while ago. Okay, so I haven't actually solved the problem. So the way I've solved the problem now is with NDAs. You know, if you can't solve it in code, then solve it with contracts. Okay, I mean it's a horrible solution. My pocket's not as good as yours, James. Okay, so there we go. That's what we're trying to do. So what we're trying to do is we import the data, and we start. The way we do it is we make use of some of the capabilities that are built into the SQL script that you get when you do a DB dump. There is a comment field, and we can overload that comment field with hints for scripts that can be applied at a field level. And maybe think about it, because I haven't written the code, but think about it. If we do a multi-pass on the script, we can then pass through and handle all the referential integrities. In other words, we can walk the tree and make sure that the obfuscation of data is done consistently through the tree. And I'm going to show you some of the ideas. So I've even written the little -- help. Okay, so it's a CLI app. Takes a file, produces a file, and you can say go for it. Do the referential integrity or don't. And let me just keep going. Okay, so the idea was to make use of script tagging. So these are some of the types of obfuscations that I had in mind 3 years ago. You might want to mask a field, and there's all types of masking that you can apply. Ignore this. Ignore this. This is just random thoughts that are 3 years old. You might want to replace a field. You might want to randomly generate a field. After what we saw earlier, we might want to faker a field. Okay. You might want to replace a field from a list of good values that you know. And I didn't start my timer, so I don't know how much time I've got. You might want to drop certain types of data that is just too sensitive, and then repass the data so that if it was a foreign key, for example, then you would have to make whatever necessary changes to make your data safe again. Okay, that's it. This is the repo. It's at Cybermint PG Scrubfu. If anyone is interested and wants to participate in this project, I think I'm going to be getting into this again because this is a problem that's got to be solved somehow by someone. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew.